Good morning. It is 6:47 a.m. on Tuesday, October 2nd, 2018. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I am a grown-up adult who just did a mic check by saying the word boogers. Last night I went to see My Neighbor Totoro on the big screen as part of Ghibli Fest, which is I've seen a few movies on the big screen that way in the last year. I saw Porco Rosso and Princess Mononoke that way. I'm looking forward to seeing Spirited Away later this month. Because I think Spirited Away and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind are, I think, probably tied for my favorite Miyazaki movies. But My Neighbor Totoro is awfully wonderful, and I think, my only hesitation here is I was just thinking that seeing it on Sunday afternoon, had I been able to do that, would probably have been the time when lots of kids would have been in the audience, because it was, mid-afternoon showtime, and that would have been the dubbed version rather than the subtitled version, which is what I saw. Ghibli Fest typically does 3 showings for these movies, and they do 2 dubbed showings and 1 subtitled one. And so that's what happened tonight. But so I guess what I'm just saying is that I think that it would have been nice to see it with a bunch of kids, because although anyone can enjoy it for certain, My Neighbor Totoro is one of Miyazaki's movies that is most suitable for little kids. And it's just wonderful, and it's lovely seeing it on the big screen and with an audience, even if it's mostly adults, is still, it adds that layer of shared experience to a movie that I already enjoy, which is nice, and just laughs at the right time. And, one of the things that My Neighbor Totoro in particular does really well is get laughs from having something unexpected happen and then taking a moment to just linger on the main character, just staring startled at whatever just happened. That's that happens over and over again in the movie, and it never stops being funny. And it's a movie too where just even as many times as I've seen it, which is several, I still found myself getting teary with empathy at the girls when they're worried about their mom, and when the little sister is lost and everyone's looking for her, and it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful movie. I've also discovered a couple of shows on Netflix that I'm making my way through. Hilda is a cartoon that I've had several people recommend to me, and I've only watched the first episode so far, but it is definitely charming. I'm interested to see where it goes from here, though, because the trailer made it seem like the big plot of the show is that this girl who's used to living in this wilderness area that has lots of sort of fantastical aspects of it, a little bit like Gravity Falls maybe, but has to move to the big city. And maybe that does happen, but certainly in the first episode what happens is that she's worried she'll have to, but then so far doesn't. So it seems more like a structure, a traditional cartoon structure, where she's worried about it, and then so she's going on a quest to not have to. So I don't know. Who knows? But I'm going to keep watching because it's charming. It has an interesting art style designed to look a bit like it's being drawn with pencil. I'm also about almost halfway done with Maniac, which is a limited series that is very reminiscent of Legion on FX, if you've seen that, in the sense that it is about characters with troubled mental health landscapes, and they get involved with a strange study designed to penetrate their deepest traumas and break down their defense mechanisms to let them process, is the basic idea of it. But just describing it like that is only the surface level, because the whole show, even the base reality that we begin the show with the characters, has some very unusual, surrealistic, science fiction type aspects of it. It's there's a lot of retrofuturism that is, when we say retrofuturism, lots of times what people mean by that is like jetpacks and flying cars and sort of the 1950s version of the future. And this is more like 1980s futurism with the way that computers look and so on. But then there's also all sorts of these weird things like ad buddies, where it's a little bit like the way that internet content is monetized, but it's applied to everything. So for example, let's say you don't have enough cash to buy your subway ticket, so you can buy your subway ticket with an ad buddy, which means that another human being who is working a job literally will just sit next to you on the subway and read ads to you while you're on the subway. And that's how you pay for your ticket, is you listen to ads from this guy. And the show goes to lengths to establish that these are not like robotic drones. These are like actual human beings who are doing a job, and they have their own thoughts and feelings about things. And the show kind of makes a point of that. And then there's also lots of other interesting stuff going on as they get into this experiment and experience like different fantasy alternate versions of themselves. And I kind of super dig it so far, although I can definitely get a sense that it's probing for something where if it fails to stick the landing, it could be pretty unsatisfying. So we'll have to see as I finish, but overall liking it a lot, and that is Netflix's Maniac. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.